Ready? Okay, first thing what I do is before they graduate or leave for the 11 and 12-year-old class, the children have to know a certain amount of things. There's only 2 things left to do for the 11 and 12-year-olds. So some of these children have already started. Thank you, parents. I'm here. That's the 9 and 10-year-old class. Sorry, that's my friend. Okay, so they have to know all these things. Sister Kamila on Friday night has been very helpful. Thank you, parents, for when we send the papers home, you're getting them to learn it. And they're doing very good. So they're going to lead us in doing some of these. 10 Commandments, Christina.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images. Thou shalt not bear witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Honor thy father and thy mother. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not
Right. Good job. 12 tribes of Israel. Haley.
Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Gad, Asher, Joseph, and Benjamin.
Good job. 7 churches of Asia. Devin.
Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamos, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, Laodicea.
Good job. And Devin's going to stay with us for the 12 disciples.
Philip, Peter, Simon, Andrew, John, and James, Bartholomew, Thaddeus, Judas, Thomas, Matthew, James, the son of Zebedee.
Good job. All right, Melody is going to take it away now with the fruit of the Spirit.
Love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, and temperance.
Okay, and examiners, the 10 plagues.
Waters, blood, frogs, lice, flies, rain and cattle, boil, hail, locusts, darkness, death of the firstborn.
Okay, Keith, you want to fill in for Marissa? The books of the Bible.
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Job, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1 Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians, 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, Philemon, Hebrews, James, 1 Peter, 2 Peter, 1 John, 2 John, 3 John, Jude, Revelation.
All right.
All of this you have to know by 9 and 10 years old, the foundations of the Church of God. All right, thank you, parents. Thank you, Sister Kamila and Brother Larry. For those of you that don't know, my dad is our assistant in the Sunday school class. And we've enjoyed that man touch because, as you see, we have actually mostly boys in our class. And it's been a riot. It's been fun, though. Okay, what they wanted to do with you is sometimes in Sunday school, we try to do stories, and a lot of you have done this in your family devotions or whatever, so they already kind of know the story, but we kind of try to break them apart so they can understand it and recall it and be able to tell it again. So we have this one particular way that we decided to do things, and we have 2 news reporters, okay? And these news reporters, we've been studying the theme of obedience, what God feels about obedience and how important it is, what the things He put in our lives and the people He put in our lives to obey. And we've been studying some stories, good and bad, and they're going to be 2 reporters that come out. This particular story was in Exodus chapter 32 when Moses went up to the mountain, and what happened? Anybody remember what happened? What happened? You want to tell it? Huh? Oh, you're the mic runner. Okay. Reporters. Where's the two reporters? You want to step out? Okay. We want to make sure the saints remember the story. They might not remember the story. Okay. All right. So when Moses went up to the mountain, what happened? Not the time when he had the 10 Commandments, but the other time when he was writing down the testimonials. What happened below? Anybody remember any of our saints? Sister Di? They made a golden calf. Why? What happened? Yes, it was just a while. The Bible says it was just a while. How long is a while? It might not have even been that many days. But they said, we don't know what happened to this man. So we need a God, and we want to see this God. After all God had delivered them from. And then when they made this God, what happened? Moses came down and he was what? He was mad. He was vexed. And it said that God was too. But what was the importance of being so upset about this? What was the big deal?
That was one of the commandments not to break.
One of the commandments was not to worship graven images. Okay, and what else? What other reason did he have to be mad about it? Children and adults. Sister Betty?
And all he had done for them.
God had did so much for them. And they decided to forget all of that and actually throw jewelry into a fire and mold. They put their hands to shape this thing. Can we imagine how hard that was? And then to worship it and give it everything that God had done for them, give the credit to this golden calf. It was sad. It was a sad day. So, we got reporters here. You all are the Israelites. We have Moses. Where's Moses?
Moses.
And Aaron. Okay, Moses and Aaron is coming out. Here's our reporters and the congregation of saints. You're the Israelites. So you got to put your mind within the people of the Israelites back then to play along. And our mic runners are going to come and ask your questions. All right, here's our questions. Ready? Go ahead, news reporter. These questions they came up with.
How did it feel when Aaron lied on you?
Anybody want to answer that? How did it feel when Aaron lied on you? Aaron said, these people pushed me into doing this, and then this calf just came out. Like it was magic. How did that feel? It felt bad. Anything else for this reporter? He wants to know how you felt. How did you feel, Israelites? When Aaron lied on you all.
Well, I felt very disappointed because if you're supposed to be a man of God and trust in God and you just go lie on them, then that's just like, that's bad. I would feel disappointed.
Okay. Next question, this reporter.
How do you think God felt about your actions?
Disappointed.
How do you think God felt about your actions?
Disappointed.
Very disappointed. Anyone else? How do you think God felt about your actions, Israelites?
His heart was probably broken.
Just like our fathers are broken when we disobey them, God was very broken after all he had done for them. All right, reporter.
Why did you disobey the 10 Commandments and build and worship an engraven image?
That question is to the Israelites. Sister Mary Blaine.
Because I was full of unbelief.
Somebody else? Somebody else?
Okay.
Because when God created us, He created us to worship something. And Moses, we were just tired of you. We didn't know what happened to you, Moses. So God created us to worship something, so He created a golden calf to worship. That's why we built a golden calf, Moses.
We didn't have any patience. We didn't have any patience. We didn't have time to wait, so we did our own thing.
I was going to say, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, like Sister Kim said, very impatient, and was caught up in our flesh, and we wanted to go. So we were tired of waiting on Moses.
God, we didn't love you like we said we did.
That's deep. One more. Is this that?
We were not close to God as you were to God, Moses.
Wow. And what did we learn that these were? Yes, they're the Israelites, but what are these, all these reasons they're giving? Excuses. I heard it out there. Excuses. Total excuses. Yes, Amy?
And another reason they didn't, I know they knew a lot about God, but all they see and all they saw in Egypt was fake gods.
Okay.
So they knew that most of their
what
life.
their experience was at that time. Good job. All right, next question, reporters.
What did the gold taste like? Did it taste like gold Kool-Aid?
Okay, remember that when Moses came down, he had them to cast the calf into the river, and then he made the people drink of it. So our assistant over there said something about Kool-Aid, and the kids ran away with that. So they want to know, Israelites, what did that gold river taste like?
Nasty metallic.
It made us sick to our stomach, and that's the way we feel God felt. He was sick of what we made.
Very good answer. All right.
It was so nasty, I'm gonna sew up. First taste made me lose my appetite.
These are some responses that were happening in the classroom.
It was so nasty, it tastes like a whale.
There's one
All
more.
right, reporters, next question. Excuse me, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I thought that it was a breathtaking liquid.
Yes?
Oh, very germy.
Very German. Who'd you want? I'm sorry. Right there, Hassan.
It tasted like pennies.
All right, next question.
Why did you break, Mr. Moses, why did you break the tablets of stone?
I had so much anger inside me, and I could not control myself. This is for Aaron. Why did you make the calf when God delivered you from Egypt? Because the Israelites kept on telling me to make a God that they can see, and I got annoying.
It got annoying, he said. They kept stressing him out.
You could have ignored them, like you could have not listened to them, or you could have told them that there is a real God. You could have told them, you could have told them like a Bible story or something, or like an experience.
Okay, next question.
Why did you let Aaron take your gold to make an image?
Why did you, go ahead.
Why did you let Aaron take your gold to make an image?
All this gold that you bought and shaped on your own, why did you let them take it like that?
Because we wanted to see a God that we could see with our 2 eyes. I think because they thought that it was no use in real God.
That was the only material we had.
Materialistic.
Because this is the gold we took out of Egypt with us. And we wanted to make this golden calf. We thought we were sacrificing. We were giving up our precious jewels, our precious gold, to make something that we could worship. We were used to giving up what we had to worship our God, even though it was a false God.
Our jewelry cost a fortune, so the calf cost a fortune to us too.
You got a last question? Okay, go ahead. Your last question.
This is from Moses. Whatever you so mad, did they do something to make you mad?
I was sickened of y'all. Y'all was just... Y'all was flat out wrong. That's all.
So this is how we bring our stories to life in class, so they can understand and know more about it, and understand and get into the role of the people back then, so we don't make the same mistakes. Oh, you had one more? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you know God is real, why did you do this to make him upset? Because we was drunk.
That's not good.
Yeah, we spent about 20 minutes on the drunk and partying part. Because when they did come down, they were dancing, and so the boys kept saying, yep, they were drunk, they was partying, and they wanted to party all over again. But the girls decided they were not a part of that. They were just watching. All right.
That day, they was just acting stupid. They didn't know what to do. They was just...
Yeah, that's another thing. They said it was they were bored. They were very bored.
Too much manna. They ate too much manna.
Ain't too much manna. Okay. A lot of spirits being in there.
Maybe they are very immature, and they didn't have a lot of sense.
Well, see, that's one of our graduates to the 11 and 12-year-old class. Maturity. All right, we're going to allow the Friday night teacher, before we give the gifts to our graduates, we're going to allow the Friday night teacher to review her story as well.
Good evening, Saints. We have also been learning a story about obedience. We've been learning about Esther. We are still in the process of it. We haven't learned the whole story, but we'll ask some questions about what we covered so far. So King Ahasuerus, we'll call him King Ahasuerus. What was his other name? Christina?
Xerxes.
Xerxes. King Xerxes, after he got his palace built, it took him a few years after he got his palace built, he had 2 feasts. How long was the first feast? Melody? You forgot? Devin? Not 360, Christina?
160?
160 days. And the next feast, how long was it? Devin? 7 days. It was a week. At the end of the feast, he sent for his wife, the queen. What was her name?
Queen Vashti.
Queen Vashti. He wanted to, what did he want her for?
To show her off. To show her off in front of everybody.
To show her off in front of everybody. What were they intoxicated? Okay. What did Queen Queen Vashti respond? What was her response?
No.
She told the king no. What happened to Queen Vashti? Wait, first, who did the king have to get advice from? Haley?
His counselor.
His counselors, which were the wise men, the princes, right? Who remembers who spoke first?
The wise man?
The wise men. One of the wise men spoke first. Who remembers his name? Starts with an M. Not Mordecai.
No.
Yes, say again.
Memucan.
He spoke first. And what was his advice? Or you can tell us what happened to the queen. Through his advice, what did the king do to the queen? Keenan, what happened? What happened to Queen Vashti when she told him no?
Kicked her out.
Kicked her out of what?
Her throne.
Her throne. She got kicked off the throne for denying the king his rights. Then, what happened? What did they have to do? There was now no queen, so what did they have to do, Melody?
Because the queen, they kicked her out of her throne. They thought that now the women could do whatever they wanted, so they made a law that they still had to obey their husband.
Right, the queen had set a bad example by telling the king no. And Memucan and the princes were telling him, if we allow her to keep her position as queen, all the women in the kingdom would think that they can do whatever they want with their husbands. They don't have to listen or they don't have to submit. So with that, she was booted off. So what did they have to do? They had to
Find a new woman.
They had to find a new woman. And what did they do in order to do that, Keena?
They got the prettiest woman they could find, and when
That what you said was right. Good job. They found the women that were very pretty, and they also had to have a good what, Keith? Speaking to the mic. They had to have a good...
a clean reputation, and they had to be not married.
Not married. So when they found him, when they got all the women, they took them back to whose house? Who was the keeper of the women? Haley?
Haggai.
Haggai was keeper of the women. Who did Haggai immediately like? Dee Dee. Esther. And so because she found favor in his eyes, what did he give her that he didn't give everyone else?
The best clothes.
The best clothes. What else? Haley, go ahead.
The best room.
The best room, and what did he give her from the king's chambers? Her helpers. Who were her helpers? Go ahead. Maids, how many? We got all kind of numbers. What did you say?
7.
7. He gave her 7 maidens from the king's chambers. Who raised Esther? Devin.
Mordecai?
Mordecai was her uncle. Mordecai was her uncle. Why did Mordecai raise her? Why did her parents raise her? What happened to them? Keith?
Her parents died.
Her parents died. How did Mordecai and Esther get to where they are? Where did they come from? They were part of what? Christina? They were the Jews. And where did they come from?
I forgot where they came from, but they were captured.
They were taken as captives from, well, the family earlier, they were taken from they were captives taken from where?
Judah?
Not Judah. Jerusalem. They were taken from Jerusalem. So here we are, back to the story, back after we found out where they came from. Esther was in the palace. How long did they have to stay there? Did we cover that already? They were
a year.
Thank you, Haley. They were in Haggai's house for a year. And what was the plan? The plan was they would stand before the king. Oh, what did they get to keep?
The clothing and the stuff that Haggai gave them. They had jewelry. They had jewelry and stuff.
Go ahead, Haley.
They got to keep everything that they had for that whole year so they could keep all their dresses and boots and scarves and hats.
I don't know if they were boots. But whatever they put on to stand before the king, it was theirs to keep. So you can imagine what some of the other women, my thoughts, if I seen Esther and I thought that she was a favorite, I probably would have been putting all kinds of things on if I knew it was mine to keep, right? All right, so what was the plan? How long did they get to go before the king?
One night.
One night, and if he was not pleased, what happened? Did he marry 5 wives, or what?
One wife.
One wife. They got one night before the king, Haley.
And if he didn't like you, he said bye.
Bye-bye. Dismissed you in the morning. Okay, so when it came Esther's turn to stand before the king, how did she dress herself? How did she know how to dress herself to please the king? Devin? Like a proper lady? Well, who helped her?
Hey, God.
Did she just put on everything that she found, or? Go ahead, Keith, in the mic.
Esther put on what Haggai told her to put on.
Esther only wore what Haggai told her to wear. And when she went to stand before the king, everyone that she passed was in awe. They were in awe of her. And was the king pleased? Yes. So Esther became queen. Mordecai stayed near the gates. Who rose to power right underneath the king? What was his name?
Mordecai.
Not quite.
Haman.
Haman rose to power. Haman had the king make a law for the people in the palace. What did they have to do every time he passed by?
Every time the king passed by, every time Haman passed by, they had to bow down to him.
They had to bow down before him and they had to reverence him. Who refused to bow? Kenan.
Mordecai.
Why?
Because he only believed in God.
He only believed God. He only bowed down to God. What was something that Mordecai told Esther she should not show anyone or tell anyone?
That she was a Jew.
That she was a Jew. Did she tell anyone?
No.
What about her closest maidservant?
No.
What about the king?
No.
No. No, she didn't tell the king. She didn't tell anyone. I think that's where we left off. No. So when Haman walked past, Mordecai refused to bow, and the people pressed Mordecai, and he told them why. We just covered that. What did Haman feel in his heart towards Mordecai? Hatred, wrath. And that's where we stop. We have not finished the rest of the story. So I think we did a good job.
All right, as you can see, the 9 and 10-year-old class is a hoot. Very live bunch. I'm going to really miss our students who are being promoted. And we're going to now give those students their promotion certificates to the 11 and 12-year-old class. Sorry, Brother Pitts and Sister Doris, for our noisy classes next door to you.
Christina Boyer.
Christina is a very, very resilient student. She's bold and she fights for the right. One thing that really sticks out with me about Christina is that we had a student to come to Sunday school class, and some of the children were laughing at her because of her disabilities. And Christina just spoke up and said, listen, we don't do that. And she began to talk to her peers about it. And it brought that down, and I was grateful, and we talked about it when the child wasn't there next time. I think that's really great. Thank you, Christina.
Haley Hampton.
Haley is bold, and she knows all the answers. Haley is one of our intelligent ones. I'm gonna miss you, Haley.
Melanie Hernandez.
Melody is our little mama. She's quite, very quick, to volunteer, and very, very helpful. I'm gonna miss you too, Melody.
Eximus Willis.
Examiners and I butt heads all the time. He likes to disagree, but he's very tactful and respectful with his disagreement, and that's very important to a mission.
We have one who's not here. It's Marissa Watts. We'll get her later.
I'll still tell you all about Marissa. We're gonna miss Marissa. She likes to take her homework assignments very serious. You heard her letter that Brother James at his wedding read to you all. That was one of our homework assignments, to reach out to a saint that you don't know and to do something very thought-provoking or kind to them. And so Marissa did that, and I didn't want to know who they did it for, or I just wanted them to pick the person. A lot of them were like, can I pick my mom? Can I pick my aunt? No, you had to pick someone you barely knew. And so we heard what a blessing that assignment was to Brother James. Thank you, 9 and 10-year-olds.